Welcome to this webinar about the requirements for completion of community service hours. Thank you for your interest in this project. Whether or not you're looking for community service hours, whatever brought you here, I appreciate you being here. If you hear background sounds, that's just life getting in the way. I assure you I'll let you know if anything is a part of this project today. And if you have any questions, I'll let you know at the end of the session how you can get in contact with me for further information. So this webinar is going to explain the project, what I'm a part of, and then outline the requirements for certification, as well as how to continue receiving updates regarding this project. You can refer back to this recording for any information, but remember that this is a live assignment and project. Therefore, as things change and evolve, as they do, this will require you to be a part of this in a living manner as well. So checking social medias or checking your emails, both of them are kind of a recommendation. So getting yourself an ability to access that information, whether it's visiting your local library and creating these accounts, checking out a device from your school, and staying updated in this information, or even somehow, some way acquiring a device that allows you to keep updated just for purposes of this project. And then when you're finished, you can always delete any apps or required information. So the lesson plan and activity on an environmental issue is the focus of this assignment, and this assignment is tracking monarch butterfly populations in 2025 using iNaturalist. The region focus is the Central Valley and Central Coast. And this project was designed to be completed in phases. So in the beginning with iNaturalist, we'll be updating photos that are geolocated, meaning when we take pictures, our location services will be on, or we will be looking at a map and locating the coordinates to our photos. And there will be community time to do this. I will be there on July 5th. I'm also planning on going up one more time, so I will let the community know for the second day that I'll be going. Your goal is to go up to the Monarch Butterfly Grove before, I believe, January 31st is the last day of attendance for that, in order to take photos and geolocate them. And so that's what phase one. You need to have those photos and those geolocations. That's just for iNatural. And there's other things. I'm sorry, that's just for iNaturalist. Let me be clear. That's just for iNaturalist. And this is going to help us track monarch butterflies in the Central Valley floor and the Central Coast region during the peak months of January and February 2025. So again, we'll talk about what goes on in February, but for right now, we're going to look at January models of geolocation and tracking of monarch butterflies. When you get in there, you can find the projects under phase one community action project. And I'll look on your side and help as people join this project, or if people join this project. And you can join this project being of any age, but specifically this certification is designed and geared towards students that are sophomores and juniors, or about to become juniors in school. I don't recommend seniors unless you're just doing this for fun and to develop your literacy skills or community project skills, because the ending of this project will take place in April, and by then you're already getting feedback about scholarships and things like that. So if you're planning on using it for any of those reasons, I just encourage you to find a shorter time base and time frame for your community action project. So the environmental issue, like I said, is that we're looking at data collection for this season. If you can look over here to your right of the screen, you can see in February 2024, there was some information. You can see at the beginning of that year, there were monarch populations. And when it says research grade, That just means that somebody has verified that these are in fact monarch butterflies. And we'll talk about how to make sure we're a part of that in phase 2. We will be making sure our photos are research grade, and that's how you can get sort of research skills from this assignment. And so there's really no contributions from Bakersfield, but I believe, in my opinion, I have seen butterflies, especially monarch butterflies, in this area, as well as we have some at Insect Lore. We have butterfly habitat, so there will be an opportunity for engagement in that section as well. Currently, monarch butterflies are on the recommendation for endangered species list, and that is the purpose of this project. We will be submitting our comments to that section for the Fish and Wildlife Service. There is a video that will help you understand exactly what iNaturalist is, but it's to help us improve our identification skills by looking at how we explore our environment. We connect through community, we observe nature, and again, this helps contribute to our identification, helps us connect to our community, helps us learn more about our environment, and continue to engage in the cycle of inclusivity within the natural community. And again, students are able to engage in authentic and meaningful ways suitable to their interest, as well as their access points within this scientific community. You can work closely on iNaturalist with advocates, naturalists, experts, and other agencies that are dedicated to conservation and identification. That is also where I'm getting my certification in a sense. I am becoming a certified environmental educator. And so again, by engaging just in this project and in this research, you are working closely with somebody who is working to conserve and participate in natural environments of learning. Why is this so important for you to engage in, or for your student or child to engage in? Obviously, we know for security reasons, our school sites have an obligation to block students' access to social media specifically, right? And photo sharing websites that geolocate photos. So allowing students to kind of test the waters and understanding how to engage in community in real ways is kind of filtered out and protected because we are still dealing with minors. And so it's important that if you are a minor here, that you're understanding a reason for that and taking that into your awareness of when you're taking photos and you're tracking your photos, with or without realizing it, you may be showing people where you are. So we need to understand what we're doing when we're geolocating, how pictures we're taking are geolocated, and how that can be used for educational purposes, as well as opportunities to engage in advocacy and summer research. So you can continue this on your own. We can also have continued community action projects through this. If this is something that you feel passionate about, and through your research and exploration, you can continue to grow and develop your passions in that way. And because some people lack opportunities at school or home to engage in a project like this, maybe you're interested in butterflies, maybe you're interested in community action and you just haven't had the opportunity yet, this is just another way to engage in an opportunity for that purpose. The opportunity to participate online in authentic ways is limited with regards to geo-tracking, like I said before. This is a part of the standards for junior and senior year literacy under the Common Core standards. So specifically over here, when we look at the college and career readiness anchor standards for writing, section 6 over here on your right says, under production and distribution of writing, it says, use technology, including the internet, to produce and publish writing and to interact and collaborate with others. So again, the production and the distribution of being online, on the internet, collaborating with others, and that's exactly what iNaturalist allows. If you look over here to your left, additionally, for 11th and 12th grade students, and even venturing into 9th and 10th grade, students need to be looking at authors' ideas, how they're developed and refined by particular sentences, paragraphs, larger portions of text, and evaluate the effectiveness or structure of people's arguments, whether things are made clear, convincing, or engaging in public documents. And so this is an opportunity to combine those two skills and put community action in motion for this specific project of saving the monarch butterflies. You can see other requirements in numbers 1 through 10 here for anchor standards if you're curious what they mean, or if you're wondering what they mean. These are what the state has, or what the education system has determined as essential for students to know and understand as we learn. It is not the only thing that students are limited to learning. It's just a good blueprint map for people who are trying to engage students in effective and meaningful ways. What do we need to make sure we're focusing on for students? And if you can see all of these things, especially a note on the range and content of student writing over there on page 55, where it says, for students, writing is a key means of asserting and defending claims, showing what they know about a subject, conveying what they have experienced, imagined, thought, and felt. To be college and career ready writers, students must take task, purpose, and audience into careful consideration. I apologize for my cat yelling. Sorry about that. To be college and career ready, students must take task, purpose, and audience into careful consideration, choosing words, information, structures, and formats deliberately. They need to know how to combine elements of different kinds of writing, for example, using strategies within an argument like narration or explanation with a narrative to produce complex and nuanced writing. They need to be able to use technology strategically when creating, refining, and collaborating on writing. They have to become adept at gathering information, evaluating sources, and citing material accurately, reporting findings from their research and analysis of sources in a clear and cogent manner. Again, emphasize on that clear and cogent manner. They must have the flexibility, concentration, and fluency to produce high-quality first draft text under a tight deadline, as well as the capacity to revisit and make improvements to a piece of writing over multiple drafts when circumstances encourage or require it. So I kind of modeled this after a 3-month course that you would kind of take in college that would encompass like intense reading, intense field work, like, what kind of, go, all systems go, kind of gathering, collecting, refining, writing, reflecting, and all of that, in order to kind of neatly package a project of research for somebody to look at regarding community service. So again, we're refining our observation skills first. So we're making sure that students of all ages are able to identify what they saw, when they saw it, evidence of what they saw, where they saw it, and who they are in relationship to the iNaturalist account. So please only post your own personal narration observations. Make sure that you're not accessing narrations in other forms, whether you created them or not. This is an authentic, in real time contribution to preservation of the natural world and identifying things and contributing to that. So it's not a picture you took at the beach when you were on a hike with your friends in 6th grade and you want to upload it to this. Like, we're not looking for that. We're looking for you to actually, in the next month, go out, find butterflies, and take some pictures in real time and track them for scientists who are not able to be there, or to confirm that what you are actually looking at is a monarch butterfly, as well as what other people are looking at are monarch butterflies. And again, this is more for parents and teachers who are watching this. Literacy and reading levels in schools are declining due to a myriad of factors. My goal is to engage students in literacy skills and research that allows that natural observation, research, reflection, and exploration. This video that John Regoson is using, or is using to explain the purpose of iNaturalist, is this link below, and you can watch that to understand how iNaturalist is used in all kinds of different ways. Ideally, students should have already had opportunities to learn the life cycle of like specifically butterflies or some other process. And so, by observing the life cycle of the monarch butterfly in their natural habitat or through other means that I'll give you opportunities to, you're going to be just kind of reflecting on that. And my goal here is to focus on identification, observation, analysis, literacy, and critical thinking skills through field practice. So it's not to teach you about the life cycle of the butterfly or to teach you how to find a butterfly, but it's actually like, what do we do once we find butterflies, and why would it be meaningful to be able to go out and identify butterflies in a natural habitat in the real world in real time for real meaningful ways. And so that's that next phase of this project where students kind of are collecting evidence right now during a critical time. And if you don't know about the butterfly right now, you'll be learning that this is a critical time for the monarch butterflies and their migration patterns. They are currently at the monarch butterfly groves, and we need to be making sure that we're grabbing pictures and collecting evidence as much as we can before they start leaving for their migration here as it starts to warm up. Okay, I apologize for that. So again, this is not about the opportunity to learn about butterflies. It's about community research and advocacy, and that's in the next phase of this project when students ask the community to confirm their research. They have an opportunity to confirm each other's research as well as community contribution. So that's where that research grade tag comes from when we saw those pictures earlier. So as they compare their data, they're going to write a report. This report can be contributed to the online community commenting section on a government website, and they'll have the confidence that they can bring valuable commentary to the topic. If we go back to this section here at the bottom, it does talk about, arguments in public works of public advocacy. They're talking about evaluating other people's writings and valuable contributions. So that's why this is good for like students who are 10th, 11th grade area, because these are things that they're already doing. They're already looking at public documents, but this is a way that that's being used in real time. And if you do need additional resources for anticipatory set and lesson plans or first exposure ideas, background information, context information, or ways to scaffold, these next few slides are going to be a part of that. So this is kind of for teachers. And if you're not a teacher, you can always jump forward to slide 14 to the next phase of this. So here's where you can have students identify the butterfly life cycle and allowing students to answer this in any manner and allowing them for observation, especially if you buy like an insect lure package, or you can have like community advocacy, and we'll talk about that later, where students can be observing this in real time and they're able to participate in not only watching this life cycle process, but also releasing monarch butterflies into the wild and then tracking that they have in fact done that, how many they have released from this area. Here's another worksheet where you can allow students to create this either with scissors, physically, digitally, or you can have them do it online in a way that's interactive and live. Here's ways that we can have students write and make sure they understand how to spell or correctly identify through spelling. And the parts of a butterfly, so we can observe and create research grade identification if we understand the parts of a butterfly and what we are observing in nature. So this is just further practice. And again, if you're beyond this, then you can always skip this. This is additional resources. So again, this is a wonderful resource for students to be able to access journaling through day and date, life cycle, drawing pictures, or this could be actual real photos that they're taking, and then writing up an observation report that they're finding for it. So this could be a wonderful way that students can use this, or use this to present, or for perhaps even just to print out copies of this and provide students with this template in order to learn how to make sure they're incorporating all of the basic requirements for journaling and identification into their note taking or field report writing. And then this resource can be used for students in K through 8, how to build their observation skills by comparing the details of different types of butterflies. So you can see, like, you can have conversations about, like, what's the difference between a viceroy and a monarch. I mean, they're very similar, right? But what's different about them? And so when students are in nature, how can they be sure they're not identifying a viceroy or perhaps a painted lady, maybe even an orange sulfur or a morning cloak? And I'm not sure if this middle one is supposed to be called question mark and comma, or if the original creator forgot to put that in there. So again, fact check me on that. That's this one right here if you're watching. And again, if you're using this as a resource, make sure that you are fact checking. So this is has a little bit more detail and already includes a picture of the monarch butterfly and allows students to start building in SEL opportunities or narrative writing approach. So looking back at that Common Core standards, scaffolding, and building a student's confidence in writing about monarch butterflies, allowing them to access their emotions and how they feel about this process of identification and observation, allowing them to engage in creative processes and giving them a time to record what they're seeing and observing. These are important parts of critical analysis and writing later on, like I said, when you're creating research grade images. That's not to say that this is limited to students who are trying to build these skills. Opportunities for field trips and nature trips outside of the school sector are essential for all ages and students. So getting them an environment where it's like the real world, like real scientists, real conservationists, real, kids that are visiting the Monarch Grove, students that are conducting research in the field alongside of them, becoming aware of themselves and their environment, how other people are interacting and having conversations with monarch butterflies in nature, and understanding this awareness can bring an inclusivity. So again, parents and families should be encouraged to participate in field observation. They shouldn't be encouraged to complete lab reports or complete assignments for children. Having transcription with video, having a student respond via video is a way that you can avoid allowing somebody else to complete this assignment for students. Here are the two places that students can visit in real time and have pictures uploaded to iNaturalist. You can do this from the Central Florida area, like I said, but the recent recordings have not been in this area. So in order to be sure that you're able to get photos and participate in the research grade identification portion of this assignment or this experience, make sure that you have an opportunity to get to the Monarch Butterfly Grove. This is near downtown Pismo. And there's also one that's near Morro Bay, but this is mostly just like a footpath or like a hiking trail. And so we do plan on going there together. Please make sure you stay tuned if you would like to do that with a group. But if you would like to gather your own group that goes out there and documents your experiences, please make sure you remain safe and aware of your surroundings and have adults with you at all time if you are a minor. Make sure that you're aware of geolocating in real time, but make sure that if you don't geolocate your photos in real time, that you could lose your ability to track them later on through geolocating services by entering coordinates. So again, this is just observation phase. Later we'll use this information to build those skills in March and April, and that's why students who are looking to complete, extended hours over time are encouraged to participate in this project. If you can see on that video with John Regison, about 43 minutes in, it gives you tips on how you can use other identification resources along with iNaturalist in order to identify other things. So like, let's say you're not really interested in butterflies, but you want to do something with botany, or you want to do something with birds, or you want to do something with bugs that you're observing, or at the same time. So let's say you're taking pictures of monarch butterflies, and in the background, you can hear a bird chirping over and over again. You can upload those sounds to other tracking agencies and have the opportunity to contribute to other research in real time. So again, this is to further your own advocacy and field participation. These are just ideas that you can go to at about 43 minutes into that video. It will kind of give you tips and tricks on how to do that. And again, I want to give credit where credit is due and make sure that I kind of encourage you to go check out that video rather than reveal all of the insight and tips that they give you. We're going to again talk about the importance of the word geotagging over time, so you can see the usage begins to increase in popularity beginning at this century, and then excuse me, and then we have the discussion of bioregions and areas that we are looking at, rather than looking at this just as something that Bakersfield or just something as Pismo is looking at, or something that Morro Bay is looking at. How can we work as a team all up and down California to track these butterflies and look at where they're going? So students, I do encourage you to check out this link or go to the Save the Monarch project, and this will help you understand how government websites process information and the public commenting process. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm not sure how this is going to work out. I might edit this for complications, but let's see how this works. So as you can see, this is the Save the Monarch project. And if you go all the way to the bottom, you're going to see information on the public hearings. And so this is in the next phase. So after we're done identifying and research grading our projects, we're going to say, hey, look, there's an absence, or there have been recordings, or population numbers are down, or we're going to make sure that we are able to contribute to the commenting process in more meaningful ways. So I encourage you to check this out, looking at how you can contribute in your own ways, or just looking at the pictures and exploring the site in order to make sure that you are educated and informed about the background information and contextual information in this project. So whether you're a teacher or a student, a parent, a loved one, a family member, whatever it takes, like, the more information you can tap yourself into, the more is going to come into play when it comes to the writing report of this. And that's the most important part, because if you want to contribute a comment, there are regulations and requirements that they have. So it does talk about information on how to do that. And so we're going to have like little webinars where we look at that information and we begin to break it down together. In fact, I can find it. So this is the information that is required. So as we're collecting information and reviewing, like, we're going to break this down, and you can see these are very long-winded explanations, but there's only 4 pages that we're really looking at. These sections are more having to do with critical habitats, what they look like in real time. So me as a guidance or expertise on that information. Okay, so looking at this information again, all of this will be discussed in the next phases. So it's important that we remind ourselves, if you want to go ahead and get started on that, that's fine. But if this seems overwhelming, it will come in phases. Again, after this is over, there is an opportunity to go look at insect lore, or perhaps even purchase a insect lore butterfly kit and garden to help contribute to butterfly populations in general, or ways that you can use monarch butterfly kits to help raise monarch butterflies and release them into the wild. To ensure that we're looking at SEL connection, again, observing ourselves in natures and opportunities for journaling, drawing, reflection, awareness, and action. So looking at how we feel as we're looking for monarch butterflies. What are we seeing? What are we looking at? What are our hands turning us towards or guiding us towards, and how are our hands feeling and things like that as we're taking notes? And where's our mind, our heart, and our spirit guided towards, and how does it feel being in nature? These are ways that students can connect themselves to more than just the logic awareness of this, but also the emotional. And these are additional resources for parents and teachers to click on in order to collect ideas for resources and lessons. And I just wanted to take a moment to point out that in this area, there's a vintage tortoise rescue and a turtle and tortoise rescue of Arroyo Grande. And it might be a way to justify, multiple modes of access. So maybe a class is doing a focus on turtling and you're doing focus on butterflies, and you guys can take a trip together and learn, and then the classes can do, little presentations before you go or something like that, right? I mean, there's so many ways that you can justify this through funding if you needed to justify using so much of this school funding to eat up the project requirements. Again, I do aim to focus on the castle competencies, and I was just given this one that includes outdoor considerations. This is from Grow Outside, so if you'd like more information, you can go to that site. Here is a list of schedules. This is going to be on californiaherbology.com, so you can always refer to these as a checklist to go through. And here is a more detailed explanation of these requirements. So just as I've been talking about, after looking at this webinar, go to that iNaturalist account and make a Agents of Discovery app. So it's on your phone. So iNaturalist can be on your computer or on your phone, and then Agents of Discovery is going to be on your phone. You can see your username. You can send that information to me through email before January 31st, but make sure you're at the Monarch Grove. Please don't wait until the last minute to do all this. Make sure you've registered for the webinar before January 14th or 15th on the Fish and Wildlife page that we talked about, and make sure you have a link with your notes, or you have pictures of notes that you've physically taken that you can transfer with the live date, because it's important that you do your own submission of contribution so that you can get an authentic certification of hours. Again, making sure that you're going to those sessions, and then on the 18th, we're going to have that debrief and webinar where we look at the requirements to submit commentary. After going to that webinar, we're going to see, is everything for us answered? Did they go over that information? And now we're just answering questions, or are we going to have to go over that information ourselves, right? So that's why the 18th is a requirement. You either need to go attend the webinar, or you on the 18th, or you need to kind of send me a 2-paragraph contribution. That's not what we discussed in the webinar. So it's either going to be a section we review, or something we talk about, or whatever we debrief on. So you can't say, oh, everything has been included. It's impossible, as you saw with the PDF. So your job is to kind of just continue to ride through all of that information and help us with just as much information as you can. And what have we missed, or what else should we consider? So again, I highly encourage you to attend the webinar on the 18th. Otherwise, you might find yourself doing a little bit more work in order to make relevant contributions. Again, on the 4th of February, this is a mandatory session to attend in person for credit. You can make up this session with a personal appointment with me. And then there's another meeting on the 1st with evidence for submission, so that I don't have an opportunity to submit because everything is pretty much due by the 12th. And so I am going to make sure that all of the files that you submit to me have all the requirements, and that it's not falsified in any way. And then I'll be making sure that those get mailed out by April 31st. So at that time, we're going to have other projects that we're working on, so we can extend this and all that. So links to sign up for different things, or register for things, or attend webinars and things like that, they'll be emailed to you, all except for the ability to attend the public sessions. Like, I don't run that, the fishing game do. And that's why going to the Save the Monarch, going to those links and registering and attending that on your own is going to be like the responsibility on you. To make sure that you are attending that, participating in that, and then bringing that to our project. So how to submit: you'll create a file with each step clearly labeled. So again, you're not just having one big long document, but rather you're having like, okay, these are my photos. This is my first section of my proposal. This is what we talked about in the webinar. This is, every single step and template is yours and authentically yours. And you have a community action portfolio that you're submitting to me. If you use Canva like I'm doing here, that's okay. You can also use Google Docs, Google Slides, and all that. Parents and siblings are encouraged to complete missions and attend sessions and everything with you, but they can't submit for you. So like, you can't be like, oh, my mom sent you this JKLMNOP assignment. And it's like, no, this is your assignment, right? So like, make sure you're understanding there is an accountability factor to receiving these community hours, that like, you're holding yourself accountable. You're the one that's submitting it. You're the one that's taking that step to do all these things. You're not having your parent, hold that burden of scheduling and submission and all of that. That's not on their plate. I mean, this is something that you should have on your plate. Additionally, this is not something that you should be using ChatGPT for. This is to develop your writing and literacy skills. So taking that opting out of thinking and literacy skills is just not an option. And understanding, like, I've had training in ChatGPT, I have a master's degree in it, so it's like, please don't mess around with that. It's just not worth it, and you could end up putting time and effort into this project and then being, discovered that you're using ChatGPT, and then all of that effort is wasted. So just doing the project versus trying to cheat in the project, and again, is going to get you farther, because believe it or not, ChatGPT does take effort to make done right. So you might as well do that yourself, okay? And if you're tempted to use ChatGPT, let's talk about how you can use it for meaningful and effective ways to help build your literacy skills. Just make an appointment with me. We'll talk about it, and then I'll help you build whatever literacy skills you feel like you're lacking that made you want to use ChatGPT in the first place. Because again, if you're trying to use ChatGPT, you're trying to avoid using your own brain, okay? And we got to figure out why that's happening, because we can't have that happen. ChatGPT can't go out in the field with you. You have got to develop your own skills, okay? So again, if you have any questions, confusions, you need confirmation, you just need me to know that you exist and you want to introduce yourself, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the next session. Take care and have a wonderful month. Bye now.